Hare Krishna. Spiritual happiness never goes away. It always prods us along the way. Spiritual happiness never goes away. Now, when we is this something we experience ourselves? We may say that yes, sometimes I dance in kirtans and I feel very happy. Sometimes I hear a very penetratingly insightful class and I feel illumined. Sometimes I take darshan and I feel thrilled. But then after that it is gone. So sometimes we go for yatras and we feel ecstatic, but also after that also that is gone. So spiritual happiness is also gone away. So spiritual happiness is also temporary, like material happiness is also temporary. So then what is the difference between the two? Actually the difference is, firstly, spiritual happiness is eternal because it is based on our relationship with Krishna. And Krishna is eternal, we are eternal. And to the extent our relationship with Him becomes steady and strong, to that extent we will experience spiritual happiness eternally. But till we come to that level of a steady and strong relationship with Krishna, till that time, because our Krishna connection is intermittent, that's why our experience of spiritual happiness is also intermittent. Because we are not conscious of Krishna, so we can't experience spiritual happiness. To the extent we are conscious of Krishna, to that extent we experience spiritual happiness. So now, in our stage, when we get some intense spiritual experiences, and we feel, hey, this was so wonderful, I want to experience this again, I want to experience this more. So we want that, but then, and unfortunately, after some time we may start feeling tasteless. I'm feeling bored, I'm feeling this as a burden. Why should I continue this? So at that time, what has happened? Has spiritual happiness gone away? Actually, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that that whatever progress that we make, it always stays with us. In 2.40 he states that Neha bhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So he says that Neha bhikramana shosti nasha. Nasha is destruction. Na iha. Of this there is no abhikrama. There is no destruction. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Nor is there any diminution. And swalpamapyasya dharmasya. That even a small progress on this path, swalpam, even if a little bit of dharma is practiced on this path, trayate mahato bhayat. It can save one from great danger, great fear. So now what does it mean when he says that there is no destruction or diminution on this path? What does it actually mean? So we may say that I experience spiritual happiness, but I am not experiencing at all. All that I am experiencing now is material desires. So what has happened? The spiritual happiness that we have experienced, that has gone deep into our heart, and that is there as a memory, as an impression. But unfortunately we have experienced material pleasures also many more times. And although those pleasures were never fulfilling, but still the anticipation and the glamorization of those pleasures create impressions on us. And those impressions, because we have indulged in material pleasures many times, usually far more times than what we experience spiritual pleasures. So those impressions are there, and those impressions are also strong. And that's why they may prompt us towards material gratification. But the spiritual impressions that are there, they stay there, and because of them, we just don't get any happiness in practice in worldly gratification. And we may engage in sense gratificatory activities, but we will not get any happiness there, because those activities will be tasteless. So somebody who has tasted an extremely delicious item, then that person tastes an ordinarily delicious item, the person doesn't find it very tasteful. You say something is mildly sweet. Some sharbat is there, some juice is there, which is a little sweet. If we have just come from somewhere and we're eating that at the first sweet item, that will taste very sweet. But then we eat 5-6 gulab jamuns, say, and they are extremely sweet. Now after that, if we go back and taste that sharbat, that it will not taste sweet at all. Because we have experienced something far sweeter. Now this is of course a mundane example, and it has limitations, because the difference between, say, gulab jamun and sharbat in sweetness is only in degree. This is more sweet, this is less sweet. But actually, the difference between spiritual happiness and material happiness is not just a difference in degree, it's a difference in nature. This is a part of our core nature. It is a part of the soul. Spiritual happiness. It is directly connected with the soul, whereas material happiness is connected with the body and the mind. So, actually speaking, the spiritual happiness, the impressions stay there, and because of the higher taste that they provide, we become spoiled for the lower taste. By misusing our free will, because of succumbing to temptations, either from within or without, we may keep indulging in sensual pleasures again and again and again, but they will never give us pleasure. So spiritual happiness never goes away, it pushes us on the way, it will push us from within. Come on, try out Krishna, give this up, this is not going to give any happiness, just turn away from it, turn towards Krishna. So in that way, pushes us along the way. And sooner or later, we will see the point of the futility, the emptiness, the tastelessness of worldly pleasures, and we will turn towards Krishna, and we will absorb ourselves in Krishna, and therein we will delight, relish eternal happiness. So, rather than resisting the push of the spiritual impressions that are there, we can resist the push of the material impressions. So then we will, by understanding that these material impressions, they cannot ever provide me happiness because it's too low a pleasure for me. I already got the higher taste. So we resist those material impressions, and we focus on Krishna and Krishna Bhakti. And then we will reinforce the spiritual impressions, and then spiritual happiness will become a constant reality for us. It will then never go away, because it will have taken us along the way to the destination of Krishna and Krishna Prem. Thank you. Hare Krishna.